Their exponential growth opportunity was 100 years ago. The new exponential growth opportunity is electric and then autonomous. They are not well prepared for that move. We think most of them will be disrupted. I think there'll be huge consolidation in the space, restructuring. And in the traditional asset management world, our strategy was considered a little out there, very volatile, very risky. And our point of view was, wait a minute, the risk is not in our strategies. The risk is, if not today, within the next 3 to 5 years, the risk is in benchmark-oriented strategies, backwards-looking strategies. I think I learned really early in the business that when everyone is moving in one direction, and they're sure that that's the way the world's going to work, and we see reasons that that is incorrect and move in the other direction, the rewards can be enormous. Tesla, of course, has been a wonderful way to showcase our research, because we were thinking that electric was possible from a scaling exponentially point of view within 5 years of the starting of the company. We started in 2014, and that certainly has proved correct. And we had the model, again, centered on Wright's law, that's critical to our analysis, such that we were watching the numbers coming out, and they were following the model that we had put in place. But because most analysts out there weren't even considering electric as relevant for 10 years, we had to convince the public. So I think our way of doing research, the courage of my conviction born out of our research, and standing on the shoulders of you and our analysts, I was able to suffer through the slings and arrows, and I didn't even consider it suffering, because I knew we were onto something big.
So you've had a lot of experience with a lot of different kinds of management teams over the years, in a lot of different strategic positions, sometimes great strategic positions, sometimes poor strategic decisions. How do you think about and assess when you're meeting with management teams? What's the secret sauce for them to navigate this landscape? How do we think about that?
Well, I think we're learning more and more about old DNA and new DNA. Tesla is a great example, a very high conviction stock for us, as many people know. And what we needed to know first was, before we even met Tesla, we needed to know, okay, this movement towards electric, are we ready for prime time? Is battery technology ready for prime time? And this movement towards autonomous, is it within our 5-year time horizon? And so we took a white sheet of paper, as you know, Brett, because you guided a lot of this research. And we just tried to figure out, what kind of cost curve decline are these battery pack systems on? And when will they reach a price that is competitive with gas-powered vehicles, like on a like-for-like basis? So we as we're doing that research, we find the companies, the visionaries who are driving these new ways of doing things. They are the companies usually with visionary managements and a lot of new DNA. They're not stuck at all in the existing world order, and typically they are dismissed by the traditional world order in early days, which the auto manufacturers laughed when Tesla lined the bottom of its cars with "quote unquote" cell phone batteries. They just dismissed it. And they missed a very, very big disruption. And now they are scrambling to try and catch up. Their DNA is mostly about the internal combustion engine. Their exponential growth opportunity was 100 years ago. The new exponential growth opportunity is electric and then autonomous. They are not well prepared for that move. We think most of them will be disrupted. I think there'll be huge consolidation in the space, restructuring. So we just we use our research as our screen. technologies first, which companies are running with these technologies, which are the innovators who are actually creating, this new opportunity, and we follow them closely. And we're in a world where there are many opportunities because of artificial intelligence. Are Well, first, there are exponential growth opportunities, but they are also winner take most opportunities. So autonomous vehicles and taxi networks, we think will submit to natural geographic monopolies. It's our job to figure out which company is best placed in each geography to become effectively the winner taking most in that opportunity.
But as a research team, we could be pitching you, like, there's all kinds of, IBM basically talks about every one of the technologies that we focus on, right? And I could pick kind of, call it old DNA companies, or you could say companies that are already at scale that are talking about, they know how to manufacture things, they just need to transition to electric. Like, why not those companies? What do you think hurts them? Like, why is there what does old DNA mean?
What it means is, when you think about it, because we haven't had this much innovation occurring at one time, uh, tried and true index-based strategies, they were very successful for a very long time. Not much was changing. So they did fine and outperformed active managers who were becoming more benchmark sensitive, which was not a good idea, by the way. So now that we're in a period of momentous change, we need the right DNA, because the old DNA typically it has R&D budgets which are focused. They're backwards looking. The world didn't change for 100 years, and in their view, I remember very well when we started ARC. In their view, electric wasn't going to become relevant for 10 or 15 years. In fact, I think IHS in 2020 expected 250,000 electric vehicles globally. And I think we're on par for, I think it's certainly over 2 million. They were tenfold off, an order of magnitude off. And that usually is why we have such an opportunity. The old world doesn't believe that innovation can come on the scene and evolve that quickly, just because it hasn't in the last 100 years. But because most analysts out there weren't even considering electric as relevant for 10 years, we had to convince the public. So I think our way of doing research, the courage of my conviction born out of our research, and standing on the shoulders of you and our analysts, I was able to suffer through the slings and arrows, and I didn't even consider it suffering, because I knew we were onto something.